Fasting isn't just a trendy detox trend on social media. It's an ancient spiritual practice that connects us to God. For millennia, believers have voluntarily deprived themselves in order to refocus. Jesus himself fasted for 40 days in the desert. Matthew 4 verse 2. Fasting is not a diet, it is a path of purification and humility. When we have an empty stomach, our soul listens better. So, there's no need to wait for the new year to get started. God invites us to clear our hearts today. We sometimes think that fasting is just about not eating. But it's much more. It's about nourishing ourselves differently with prayer, meditation, and the Word. As it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Matthew chapter 4, verse 4. By fasting, we learn to detach ourselves from material needs in order to draw closer to the spiritual. And between us, it is not by counting calories that we get closer to the Creator, but by counting the moments spent in His presence. We all know that moment when hunger makes us irritable. Well, that's exactly where fasting works on our patience. Because depriving ourselves of food also means learning to control our emotions. Fasting teaches us self-control, that famous fruit of the Spirit of which Paul speaks, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience. Galatians chapter 5, verse 22. So the next time hunger makes you want to bite, pray instead. Those around you will thank you, and so will God. Fasting is an act of love for God. Fasting is not about punishing ourselves. It is an act of love. A gift we offer to God, our time, our attention, our hearts hungry for Him. Like a lover who puts aside his pleasures to focus on the one he loves. In Isaiah chapter 58, verse 6, God reminds us, "This is the fast that I have chosen, to loose the chains of wickedness." True fasting pleases God when it makes us better toward others. And let's face it, it's worth missing a meal or two, right? Fasting is a prayer booster. Have you noticed how our prayers are sometimes more fervent when we fast? We are more attentive, less distracted, more sincere. In Acts 13 verse 3, early Christians fasted and prayed before making important decisions. Fasting clears our minds and helps us better listen to God's voice. Like a telephone without interference. So the next time you're unsure of a choice, why not accompany your prayer with fasting? God always hears, but sometimes we hear better. Fasting makes us feel united. Fasting also has a wonderful side effect. It makes us sensitive to the suffering of others. When our stomachs rumble, we think of those for whom it's a daily occurrence. It's a call to charity. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 7 exhorts us, "Share your bread with the hungry." Christian fasting is never selfish. It encourages action and generosity. To offer the price of one's meal to a poor person is to give a double meaning to one's deprivation. And that makes God smile, believe me. Fasting, the cure for pride. Pride, that nasty flaw that makes us believe we're in control of everything. Fasting puts us back in our place. When physical weakness overcomes us, we understand how dependent we are on God. As Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3 says, "He humbled you and made you hungry, to teach you that man does not live by bread alone." Fasting shatters our illusions of omnipotence. It reminds us that, in reality, it's God who carries us. And it feels good to let go, even if it's between two gurgles. Fasting purifies our thoughts. When we fast, we quickly realize that it's not just our bodies that needed a little cleaning, but our thoughts too. Less preoccupied with our food, we can see our minds more clearly. Psalm chapter 139, verse 23 inspires us, "Search me, O God, and know my heart." Fasting is an invitation to this introspection. And between us, it's more effective than a personal development diary. It's God Himself who sorts through our ideas. The result, a lighter head and a more peaceful heart. Fasting and spiritual joy. It's often wrongly believed that fasting is sad. Wrong. Fasting is an opportunity to discover pure joy, the kind that comes from God. Jesus said it, "When you fast, anoint your head and wash your face," Matthew chapter 6, verse 17. In short, be joyful. Fasting is not a punishment, but an inner celebration. It allows us to taste more subtle delights, peace, gratitude, confidence. So, next time, swap that defeated expression for a smile. You're celebrating, spiritually. Fasting prepares for major milestones. Before beginning his ministry, Jesus fasted for 40 days. Before a major decision, the first apostles fasted. Fasting is a time of preparation. Do you have an important choice to make? A turning point in your life? Take, for example, Acts of the Apostles chapter 14, verse 23. They appointed elders for them in every church, and after prayer and fasting. Fasting attunes our hearts to God's will. It's a bit like tuning your instrument before a concert, essential if you want the melody to be right. Fasting is an act of faith. Voluntarily refusing to eat is an act of faith. We proclaim that our life depends not on bread alone, but on God. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6 reminds us, "But without faith it is impossible to please Him." Fasting is an "I love you" addressed to heaven, a sign that we rely on God more than on our own strength. It's not easy, of course. But that's where faith grows, when we let go of comfort and place ourselves in His hands. And that's powerful. Fasting and spiritual liberation. There are battles that cannot be won without spiritual weapons. Fasting is one of them. Jesus told the disciples who were struggling to cast out an unclean spirit, "This kind does not come out except by prayer and fasting," Matthew 17, verse 21. Fasting breaks invisible chains. It gives unsuspected strength in the face of temptation and discouragement. It is a shield, a sword, a silent cry that touches the heart of God. In short, fasting is not an option, it is a tool for liberation. Fasting, a school of simplicity. Fasting teaches us to live with less. Less food, less comfort, and we realize that we need little to be happy. Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 inspires us, "I have learned in whatever state I am to be content." Fasting declutters us, lightens our load. And as a bonus, it simplifies our days, less time cooking, more time for God. Ultimately, it's a return to basics. And in a world that's constantly running around, it feels so good to slow down and love better. Fasting, a pleasant offering. When we fast wholeheartedly, it is an offering that rises to heaven. A bit like a sweet fragrance before God. Romans chapter 12, verse 1 tells us, "Present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God." Fasting is about offering your body, your time, your thoughts. Not out of constraint, but out of love. And God, who sees in secret, Matthew 6 verse 18, is pleased with our approach. It is not the length of the fast that matters, but the intention. And the intention does not cost a penny. Fasting prepares us for the resurrection. Fasting reminds us that we are only passing through this world. It turns us toward eternity. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "If you have been raised with Christ, seek those things which are above," Colossians 3 verse 1. Fasting frees us from fleeting pleasures and strives for heavenly things. It's a little death to the world, the better to taste true life. Training, in short, for the promised resurrection. So, take courage, behind fasting hides an eternal feast, and this one never ends. After fasting, what remains? Inner transformation. For the goal wasn't just to skip meals, but to change a little more each day into the image of Christ. In all these things we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us, Romans chapter 8, verse 37. Fasting gives us victory over ourselves. And the good news is, what we learned during the fast can be lived every day. Patience, generosity, prayer, simplicity. It's the most beautiful of feasts, that of a life close to God.